Hey everyone, welcome to part 3 of my #1 most evil anime villain. Alright, this is where things start to get interesting. First off, I'm wanting to say this. One of the things that helped get him on my list was during the series, a bunch of right-wing extremists actually wanted to recruit Johann in order to make him the next Adolf Hitler. First time I heard that, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. What they failed to realize was he doesn't have the same agenda they do. And basically, they wanted to get his attention through, they say it was his coronation or his initiation or something of that matter, by pretty much setting the entire city, which was being overrun by Turkish people, ablaze. They failed in their mission, of course, due to the efforts of Nina and Dr. Tenma. But they didn't get his attention at all. I doubt he even realized. No, I'm pretty certain he knows about it, but he just doesn't care. All right. And another thing concerning Fire was while he was Shuvalt's secretary, after he meets up with his real son, pretty much it's assumed that he's wanting Shuvalt's fortune, and Johann comes up with this plan to get him in the public library in the university. Then he was going to trap all the people inside, and then he was going to have some of his men set the place on fire and just watch what happens. Because that's what Johann does. He just metaphorically or literally sets things afire and then just kickbacks and watches. Which is what he does with Shuvalt in this particular situation. And he's just talking to Shuvalt during all of this, and this is around the time Shuvalt finally understands what Johann is doing. And Johann's talking about so calmly and it's just a very cold manner, which is Johann incarnate. And Johann pretty much says, and this is pretty much his ideal on humans. He sees humans as just a line of ants. And this is mentioned throughout the series as well. But that's pretty much what he does. He just sees people as a line of ants marching along, and then he just throws something into the midst of it, and then sees what happens. Like during the fire at the library, he was telling Shuvalt, look at these people, how a little fire and they're trampling over each other, concerned about their own lives. Then it turns out he didn't want Shuvalt's inheritance fortune anyway, so he didn't really care about that. But then you don't see him for a while, and throughout at the first half of the series, you don't really see Johann that much. It's really the latter half of the series that he's involved a lot, but his influence and reach is so far that even when he's not there, you still feel his presence like a shadow in the corner. You know it's not there. It's off in the distance. You don't notice it, but it's there. And another thing about him is he's a genuine leader, which is why the extremists want him to become the next Hitler. But that's how he manipulates people. He's a genuine leader. He just attracts people to him. And primarily he focuses on children because of his upcoming and all that. You know, his problems dealt from when he was a child, so he focuses on children because that's the part That's when you're a child. That's when your brain's in the developmental process more strongly. And so he pretty much like he pretty much just stays around orphanages and things like that, and he just focuses on the children. Like in one episode, he actually teaches a bunch of orphanages this game, which is one of those chosen ones type game, where it's you go up to the roof of an abandoned building, stand on the opposite edge of the roof, and then you walk towards each other with your eyes closed, and if you can make it to the center without looking, you win. And this causes the death of a lot of children. And if you fall and live, like that one kid did, because he hit something on the way down, they think they're chosen even more because they survived death. And another thing he did with a child, and this is one of the crueler things he does, like this is how he gets inside your head. But this orphan wanted to meet his mother. And his mother was a prostitute who worked in the red light district. And Johann, in the guise of Nina at this point, because after you find out he dresses like her and impersonates her, sometimes you're like, is this Nina? Is this Johann? Who are we looking at right now? You know, it's hard to tell because they're identical twins. So he was like, he pretty much takes him to the outskirts of town, tells him, walk down this road and you'll reach the place where your mother works. So he makes this little kid, about 10 years old at most, walk all the way to Germany, to this town, in the red light district. Little 10-year-old kid in the red light district. Yeah, guess how that works out. First off, everyone in the entire district is looking at him because 10-year-old kid in a red light district. What's going on here? And this kid sees things no child should ever see. He pretty much got a cold slap of reality. Because, first off, he was like, my mom will know me when she sees me, and I'll know her when I see her. And then it was like, a woman grabs hold of him and says, you're my son, you're my son. And he was like, are you really? And she lets go and goes, huh, no. And then you first just a bunch of things like that happened to him. Then the worst of them was he ran to some prostitute in a back alley, bent over a trash can, and some guys behind her, and she was like, no, let's not do it here, there's a child standing there. Then the guy was like, no, I want him to watch. And he's pretty much going on about how he's a teacher and he's a respected man. And so he's having sex with this girl in the back alley on a trash can with this little kid watching him. And then afterwards, he slips some money and goes, here. And apparently the guy was a teacher, so that just made it worse. Then, like, a few minutes later, he meets some junkie on a street corner, and she was like, I'm dying, I need money for my fix. And he just pulls out his money without even thinking. He goes, well, this is all I have. She snatches it out of his hand and runs off. Then he makes it to the end of the district and pretty much just snaps. And he almost kills himself if Tenma and Greiger, another character, didn't show up to save him. And I've been rambling again. It's at 9.5 minutes. So this is going to be a 4-parter. I'm almost done. But this one is worth it. I actually expect it to be this long. And I will see you all in part 4 for hopefully the finale of this.